News Radio WRVA. My name is Rich Herrera. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Voice of Virginia. There's two ways to get a hold of us. If you want to send us a quick text message, and we read the best ones, 655, 755, 855. No, I don't have time to read each and every one of them. I read them all personally, but the best ones make the air. 655, 755, 855. You get a chance to make your voice known. Now, the other way that you can get a hold of me is through my personal website, rich4america.com. Rich, the number 4america.com. Gonna try something new. Just to give you a mental break. Like I said, so many people there's so much anxiety going on right now. We just hear bad news over and over and over. It's just stressful. I'm going to try to bring some good news. There's lots of good things going on. And what I'm going to ask for you is your help. I'm going to make this a crowdsourcing project for all of us. If you know of a great story, a good Samaritan, someone doing good in our community that we can highlight and tell their story, I'd love to do it here at Richmond's Morning News. I know there's a ton of people out there that do wonderful things. If you have an organization that's doing something special, raising money, helping kids, helping the elderly, helping veterans, helping the police, helping people, I'd love to be able to tell their story. If there's an event that you have coming up, that we can help shine a light on, then I want to hear from you as well. Email me at my personal website, rich4america.com, rich4america.com. They're starting to come in, but I need to prime the pump. So start sending them in, sharing some ideas of things that we could talk about here at Richmond's Morning News. And we're going to start bringing you those feel-good stories to go along with all the rest of the stuff that's hitting the fan right now. Okay, where am I going to go next? I do want to follow up on something that we did yesterday on the program. John Canzano, longtime college sports writer. He lives up in Oregon. I knew him because he covered the Pac-12 before it fell apart. And he's just a wonderful writer. He now is independent, johncanzano.com. We talked to him about the hearings that we had on Wednesday where Nick Saban and a bunch of coaches and administrators went to the Hill. And I got a lot of people that pushed back like, Rich, let them play club sports. Go back to where it is. College should be about college and not about athletics. Athletics is too big. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If that's what you're thinking, then you don't understand the dynamics of colleges right now. Athletics, and Nick Saban has said this, and it makes the most sense, are the front door to your university. And I would argue all the time, people are like, why are they spending so much money on sports? How many people bought a sweatshirt because the chemistry department was great? Look at JMU. JMU is becoming a national brand. Why? Because of the success of their football team. VCU. When did VCU become a national brand? When the basketball team started having success. Athletics is a way for your university to get attention. Donors come back, alumni get excited, kids find out about your school. If you win the national championship in college football, you have some success in college basketball, more kids get interested, more applications go in. More applications go in, that means you get better students, higher GPAs, you get better, brighter students wanting to come in. The competition gets a lot tougher. When the competition gets a lot tougher, the academic needs get a lot stronger. You get more research because you've got stronger students. You get more research grants coming to your university, and the university benefits by having a competitive student body. And all of that starts with athletics. There's studies that'll show you that. But when your school starts to fade out of the national picture, other people will jump in. You saw how excited people got about JMU in the college football playoff. What do you think that did to kids like, hey, maybe I want to go to JMU? Now, here's the reciprocal of that. If you're Virginia Tech, you're a Hokie fan, if we go to this big Super League, 30 teams, would Virginia Tech be one of the 30 teams that would be in the Super League and compete for the biggest prizes in college football? Or would you be relegated down to a lower level of football where you'll never be seen on TV and nobody outside of the Commonwealth of Virginia will know who you are? College sports and you've got two conferences, the SEC, Big Ten, want to gobble it up for themselves and becoming the NFL 2.0, and the rest, ACC, Big 12, are fighting every bit that they can. So I want to give you back more of the end of this conversation with John Canzano, because the other part of this is there's a lot of kids right now. I'm going to say there's a lot of little girls right now that would love to play college sports. If football goes the way of this NFL model, guess what? The sports that get paid by football's grandiose will all go away, including softball, swimming, tennis, women's basketball, women's volleyball. Those opportunities will vanish overnight. Let me give you part two of my conversation with John Canzano this morning on Richmond's Morning News.
One last thing, and folks, I'll scare the heck out of you. Could you imagine Blacksburg, Virginia, and you don't have Enter the Sandman as the Hokies take the field? That's what you're facing right now in college sports. I want to go back to your daughter, because you're such a talented writer. When you bring your family in, it always gets me choked up. I got a son who played Division III baseball for half a season. I know what it's like for them to get there. When these opportunities go away for your daughter in the future, or, just think about this, John. Everybody makes fun of all these bowl games. You and I have been to some of these smaller bowl games. You see the look on a senior's face as he walks off the field for the very last time with a win in one of these bowl games. It means the world to them in that moment, and the rest of these people that are so cynical can go jump in the lake. As far as I'm concerned, college athletics builds character. Not everybody's going to make it to the NFL, but these kids that we say play college sports end up becoming our future leaders, or coaches, teachers, and they benefit our society.
We have a system right now that has athletes transferring 3 and 4 times to different schools. Some of these kids, a lot of them, not just some, a lot of the football players in Division I schools, the major colleges, are not attending a single class in person. They're all taking online courses, and they're just focusing on playing football. They've got agents in their ears. They've got coaches they don't trust are going to be there in a couple months. There's a lot of bad things going on right now, and I think we need to step back and go, hey, look, pay athletes, yes, on board with that, but maybe we should cap it. Maybe we should give more schools an opportunity to get better players. Maybe we should limit the ability for athletes to. You could transfer once, but you transfer twice, you got to sit a year. Coaches, guess what? You've got to stay with your team to the end of the year. You made a commitment, stay with your team. You signed a contract, for crying out loud. These things are good. We call these college campuses places of higher learning. Let's let them be places of higher learning.
Okay, I do have to ask one more question, though, because you brought up the whole Lane Kiffin thing. Leaves during the school year was such a mess. We see James Franklin, who's come out here to Virginia Tech, but out here, James Madison University, Kurt Cignetti got there. Then we saw UCLA poach the coach. You have schools that have done everything right, like a JMU, only to see their coaches poached by these bigger schools. What about those kids as well? I mean, it just seems like there's no rules in this.
There are no rules. It's wide open, and there's the idea of a rule. There isn't a rule. There's no penalty. There's no consequence. The coaches all know it. They're all talking about it. They're all frustrated with it. It's like raising kids. Like, the kids, they may not like rules, but they need them.
Yeah.
And I think we need these in sports. The very foundation of sport is based on the principle of a level playing field and rules that everybody's following, and an official out there who's enforcing the rules. Imagine the NFL if there wasn't a salary cap, or nobody was there to penalize teams who violated it. Imagine, in Major League Baseball, there's just no sport that would allow what's going on in college football. It needs to change. The only people who are against having some guardrails put in are those that are most benefiting from it. That should tell you something. And here's the dirty little secret. At some point, the Big Ten and the SEC are going to say, hey, should we break away? There's going to be a moment of truth for those conferences. Should we break away and just do our own thing? And I think if they do break away and do their own thing, the rest of us should be okay with it and go, you know what? It wasn't in the spirit of college athletics, but I would advise them to proceed at their own peril, because we've seen a lot of knockoff NFL, XFL, all the knockoff spring leagues in football that did not survive. There's only one NFL, and I don't think the public has room for another.
Folks, if you're a college football fan, you need to read John. And I'm telling you, and John and I both covered the Pac-12. He up in the Northwest, I was down in the desert. We saw our beloved Pac-12 disintegrate, fall apart. They're trying to bring it back, but it's not going to be the same. ACC fans, I'm telling you, you need to be on watch. Your conference, they're coming for you next. If you want to find out more, stay on top of this great reporting, John. How do they read your pieces?
Go to johncanzano.com, get a free subscription, get a paid subscription. I always say whatever works for you works for me, but there's a lot ahead. These are important times. And one of the duties too that we have in media is we need good stories, not just reporting about the legal fights and the nonsense that's going on and lawmakers, but I really dig in and try to bring humanity into it, and I think that's important. I think we need to remember, like I did at the breakfast table, there are people involved here.
100%. John, I appreciate you joining me, folks. Check them out, johncanzano.com.
All right, so that's John Canzano, second half of our conversation. Thought it was important to bring that to you because, again, if you're a Hokie fan, if we see the ACC fall apart the way that some people, Florida State's not happy, Clemson, they're not happy, Miami, if they bolt for the SEC, what would happen to Virginia Tech? Would they make the cut if this thing falls apart? If some of the members of the ACC bailed the same way they did in the Pac-12, what's going to happen to the Hokies? Virginia, forget about it. You will never find another conference. You will be like Stanford and Cal. Maybe somebody takes you in on the other side of the country, but nobody's going to come running to you. So if this continues to go on, that's why it was before Congress. And again, if you're here in the Commonwealth, think about that. Think about JMU. You want to keep trying to build your program up and people keep taking your coach and taking your players left and right? It's not sustainable. What do you think? 833-804-1140, 833-804-1140. Coming up, the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia is telling homeschool kids to stay home. You're not welcome on our sports teams. Had a ruling the other day. We'll talk about that coming up here at Richmond's Morning News. Today's program,
Men's Wellness,
I will tell you, is brought to you by Men's Wellness Centers. So what can I tell you about Men's Wellness Centers? There are